What's up, everybody? Welcome to podcast now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Mafia, the old country, yet again. This is a nice little break, I would say, from all these more speculation and kind of breakdown videos I've been doing the last few days. How about an update to the game? And to be honest with you, I was so focused on talking about the ending and talking about Enzo and a couple other videos I'll be doing over the next couple days. I never really even thought of, like, how can you expand the old country? I have thought about DLC ideas, and we'll do a video on that probably over this weekend. You guys can let me know, what DLC ideas you want in the comments, but I really wasn't thinking about this specifically. So coming straight from their Twitter, they say, thanks for the love and loyalty you've shown the game. Today, we're excited to confirm that Free Ride is on its way. Expect some new activities and gameplay arriving for all players in the coming months. And this, by the way, kind of hot on the heels. I think earlier today there was a report. It's not like 1,000% accurate or even, I guess, technically official, but it seemingly is that the game has sold over 800,000 units. It looks like PS5 is about half. It's like that. And then Xbox, I think, is like 15%. And then PC is like 35, so that kind of makes up the whole chart. So game has almost hit 1 million, which is pretty darn good, I would say. I mean, there's been people that have looked on like the online charts of it's kind of lagging behind one definitive edition, I think, right? But it's doing better than the others. So I'm sure this hits a couple million, which, this is a game that was shorter. This is a game that was cheaper. I want it to make back its money. I want them to continue. It's all things, we'll continue to talk about over the coming days. But, sells seemingly pretty darn well. And then we get this. So I really like this just to, because we talked about some of the earlier moments of this game, when you're on horseback, when you're in the car, there's some character moments there too, right? Like you're talking, you're kind of learning what this like area of land, is there for, and how does the Don kind of have power. And I mentioned even like one of those earlier missions of checking in on people, right? When you go with Cesare and Luca, a lot of it is like, hey, we're going to talk for a little bit, but it's really, let's show you this beautiful world we made, right? And hey, look, we honestly don't let you explore it, as we would in, say, an open world, but we're going to kind of show you, like, you see those mountains, like those look really beautiful, right? These hilltops and all this stuff. So to have this and just kind of be able to go around, I know, there seemingly is areas like you can't really go to, so I wonder if like barricades or barriers or whatever are kind of taken down. But I just like the idea of, hey, let's, to be honest with you, it's, hey, let's flex how good the game looks. And it really does look phenomenal. A lot of like the far out distant things that you can see far out, when you're on horse or in a car, look phenomenal. And, we've talked about, just how it feels even to drive a car. I would not mind that at all. So I think that's just a cool look. To be honest, you didn't need to add anything. And that might be controversial because I know, that's a very split thing online, specifically with this game, that there's people that did wanted more in the base game. I mean, I understand it. And again, like it was a very split thing. For me, to be honest, you put the game out. It is what it is. I freaking loved it. One of my favorite games of the year. You can move on. And when I say move on, I mean like them. They don't even have to go back to it, in my opinion, to make the game better. But Free Ride is cool. And then new activities and gameplay arriving free. So the fact that all of it's free is, I mean, you could look at it kind of both ways. I don't think you should make these things paid, right? So I want to say like, oh, it's such a nice thing for them to do. At the same time, it's like, yeah, a free roam type option, you should not, that would be one of the worst looks possible, right? To lock that behind like a $5 DLC thing. So, they're doing, I think, what is right, if they're expanding the game. And, honestly, we've seen a couple single player, I think Stellar Blade is maybe the greatest of them all, single player game, but they really treated that game like it was a live service thing. All of these free updates for like a year, just new outfits, new modes, all sorts of stuff that, again, even for a game like that, you didn't really have to add any of it. They just kept at it to try to keep that excitement and that engagement in a single player game, which I really respect. I can really respect a single player game trying to like bolster itself up as the months go for free, not for, being paid. With that being said, though, new activities and gameplay, maybe like gang related, like, areas of the map that you can kind of go and clear out an area. Look, I would warn, and while, maybe I'm not the greatest at coming up with ideas, what I do think I'm pretty okay at, though, is setting expectations, which is, again, if they're going to do this for free, if they're going to do this over the coming months, do not expect them to revolutionize their game, like to completely change it up. I think these are things, like if you want to let me know, of course, in the comments, you can absolutely do that. But I think if you want to start to imagine what they could add, you really gotta kind of contain it to like, okay, what's already done? What's in this game? What assets do they have? What can they kind of, to be honest with you, like rinse and repeat? Because you're not going to do it for free if you're completely changing it up and adding, like the DLC, say that they added for Mafia 3. I mean, those were legit. Those were also paid, so it's like, you can't do stuff like that and go too extreme. Again, I think it's a nice gesture and I can definitely, respect it, but I just wouldn't expect, oh, okay, your suggestions are let's completely change how this game is. They're not doing that as a free update over the next couple months. You wouldn't even be able to do it that quickly, right? So just to kind of set expectations accordingly, don't expect it to revolutionize what this game is. If you didn't like this game, I don't think the free new updates are gonna, change your mind very much. So let me know, what ideas you guys have in the comments. Thank you as always for watching these videos, by the way. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you're subscribed, bell icon turned on, and hope to see you all on the next one.